So, ladies and gentlemen, could we now ask you to welcome, please, Minister Michael McGrath. Please, okay. Minister.
Thank you very much, Martin, and good morning, everyone. And Maggie, thank you so much for hosting this important summit again this year, and I'm delighted to be here, and I appreciate you showing some flexibility, Martin, in changing the time and so on. I hope it didn't put you out too much, so thank you for that and for the invitation, and to your chair, Alan Dukes. Great to see you again, Alan, and thank you for all of the work that you're doing for Asia Matters, and to all of the stakeholders, and of course to Ambassador Hugh. Thank you so much for all of your help in organising my visit to China back in March for the St. Patrick's Day celebrations, and I'll say a few words about that in a moment, but a wonderful trip, and thank you for you and your team and all of the support that you gave to us in organising that. To Moira Morell, congratulations on your new appointment as CEO of Cork County Council. Just to wish you all the very, very best with that. They'll keep you awake anyway, the councillors. They'll work you hard, but it's a great team there, so the very, very best of luck. And I know we've Conor Healy here from Cork Chamber, and of course many stakeholders from the tourism sector, because that is of course the focus of your summit this year. So it's great to be here with you all, and to have an opportunity of saying a few words and to acknowledge the enduring connections between Ireland and China in particular. The twinning partnership between Cork and Shanghai has been the bedrock of the considerable cultural, official, business, tourism and education links between our two cities. I understand that the All-China Gaelic Games took place in Shanghai just 10 days ago, bringing together the diverse Irish community who live across China. As I said, I had the pleasure of visiting Shanghai myself this year as part of a broader visit to China to mark St. Patrick's Day, and the visit was a wonderful opportunity to engage with Irish communities across 3 key cities in China, and to see at first hand the work that is being undertaken by Team Ireland in China to support Irish businesses, to develop trade opportunities that exist with China. It was also an opportunity to engage with my Chinese counterpart, the Minister for Finance, Minister Lan, and we had an excellent meeting. And again, thank you, Ambassador, for facilitating that. And also to maintain the momentum of high-level engagement with China following the visit of Premier Li Qiang to Ireland in January, and of course the Taoiseach's visit to China in November of last year. I have to say I was struck during my visit by the extraordinary warm welcome that I received when I went, and greatly appreciated the very valuable discussions that we had with our Chinese interlocutors. And as we mark 45 years of diplomatic relations between Ireland and China, I want to acknowledge the strong economic, people-to-people and cultural links that have grown between our two countries. These have been further bolstered by deepened political dialogue and in-person engagement since the lifting of the pandemic-related restrictions, offering the possibility to renew connections and explore new avenues for dialogue and for cooperation. And building these economic, political and cultural relationships will remain a priority for Ireland. Ireland wants a strong and constructive relationship with China, one informed by our values and principles and by the multilateral system in which we are both important stakeholders. Of course, we won't always see things the same way, but our ambition is that we will always speak frankly and respectfully to each other. In October last year, the government launched Ireland's updated Asia-Pacific strategy, and this strategy reaffirms our commitment to deepen engagement in this dynamic region, and it sets out the parameters for how we want to grow our connections and to strengthen our partnerships. It set a new level of ambition, committing us to deepening mutually beneficial political and economic relationships, to promoting our values and to working in partnership to deliver solutions to the global challenges which impact on all of us. And following the launch of the Global Ireland Strategy in 2018, the government expanded our footprint in Asia, opening new missions in Manila, Wellington and Mumbai. We have also strengthened the presence of crucial state agencies. And since the refresh of our Asia strategy, Ireland has stepped up the level of political engagement that we have on a bilateral basis. And later this year, we will open an embassy in Islamabad. In 2025, a flagship Ireland House is due to open in Tokyo, and a consulate general has been announced from Melbourne in 2026. Our office in Melbourne will mean that we have 18 diplomatic missions in the region. We see the Ireland-China relationship as situated within that broader network of our relationships in the Asia-Pacific region. China is now Ireland's 5th largest trading partner and largest trading partner in the region, with two-way trade in goods and services reaching €44 billion in 2022, an incredible figure considering our population size and the large geographic distance. Trade in goods in both directions has grown by 530% in the last 10 years, and I'm proud to say that it's very much a two-way relationship, with Irish companies in China like Kerry and CRH now employing over 5,000 people in China. Last November, my colleague, Tánaiste and Micheál Martin, opened our new Ireland House in Shanghai, where our Consulate General and state agencies work together as Team Ireland to promote economic and people-to-people links between our two countries. And I spent some time there during my visit, and I could see the real benefit of having that anchor in Shanghai, where all of the Irish team can work together, can avail of the synergies of the networking, the different contacts that are being established. For their part, Ireland's state agencies, Enterprise Ireland, IDA Ireland, Tourism Ireland and Board BIA, have offices in Beijing, Shanghai and Shenzhen. As a small open economy, we rely on external demand and international markets for sustainable and continued growth, and to maintain and to create jobs throughout our country. Last year, for the second successive year, Ireland's global trade exceeded €1,000 billion. Chinese companies in Ireland employ about 5,100 people and include Wuxi, ByteDance, Bank of China and Huawei. Underlying Ireland's approach to trade is the government's 4-year trade and investment strategy, Value for Ireland, Values for the World, the goal of which is to see Ireland grow sustainably, to diversify our export markets and provide for Ireland's continued economic well-being. The strategy will help to deepen and extend trade relationships, but also to create more opportunities. Our attractiveness as a destination for Asian investment, particularly in the wake of Brexit, has undoubtedly increased. Ireland is now the only English-speaking country in the European Union, and along with the country's globally recognised education and pro-business approach, it creates an environment where many Asian companies are looking to invest, to grow and indeed to thrive. We've made clear that we remain committed to pursuing deeper economic relations and to assisting Irish and Chinese companies to make sustainable investments in both directions, based, of course, on transparency and fair market competition. Our economy is one of the most open in the world. We export approximately 90% of what we produce, and our approach is anchored in global trading norms. And this very much informs how we approach our external engagement, including with China, on economic issues. We ask for a level playing field on trade and investment. We believe in fair market competition, and we seek reciprocity. We believe that transparency offers the best path to growing prosperity in China and also across the European Union. We are also conscious, as our counterparts in China, I know, are, of the need to build resilience into our economies and into our supply chains. The pandemic and the deep economic impacts of Russia's war in Ukraine have demonstrated just how important economic security and resilience is. Many of you will now be familiar with the concept of de-risking. As the Tánaiste and others have said, this is about developing our economic and systemic resilience. It's about protecting our citizens from economic uncertainty. And the government has made it clear that it is not for Ireland or indeed our EU partners to decouple any economic relationship. We want to build a stronger and a mutually beneficial economic relationship with China into the future. Building economic resilience is a vital component of maintaining our open trading posture, and it's not just government that must take on this task. For us as a small open trading economy, international trade is our lifeblood. So we need to be advocates for multilateralism on all of the fora in which we participate, for trying to bring down barriers rather than seeing them erected, because that is what has helped Ireland to develop such a successful economic model. The private sector, academia and other domestic partners also have a vital stake in ensuring that they can continue to build valuable relationships in China while developing an understanding of their level of exposure across all external engagements. And during my own visit to China earlier this year, I was struck by the depth of our economic ties and the extraordinary potential that there is for these to grow. In this context, the resumption of direct flights between Dublin and Beijing is particularly welcome. Direct travel is an important catalyst for trade and also for those personal people-to-people links. I also want to acknowledge the decision by the Chinese government to waive visa requirements for Irish passport holders travelling to China for short periods for work or for leisure. I know that many of those who are driving trade, cultural and important educational links between our two countries have already benefited from this waiver, and I'm aware that it is facilitating more regular travel for those with family in China as well. Many of the Chinese diaspora in Ireland will benefit from the direct flights, as will Chinese students who have chosen to pursue their graduate or their postgraduate education here in Ireland. Our higher education sector has many links in China, including here in MTU, who are our kind hosts today, and of course UCC, who are also supporting this event. Earlier this year, the Taoiseach launched Global Citizens 2030, Ireland's international talent and innovation strategy. It recognises our attractiveness as a learning destination and the role that international students and academics can play in enhancing Ireland's global footprint. And we are committed to ensuring that Ireland remains a destination of choice. And while I was in China, I met with many of those education partners, and the depth of the relationship, which is growing all the time, really impressed me, I have to say. I was particularly pleased to learn about the growing people-to-people and the cultural ties between Ireland and China. Many will be aware, of course, of the success of Riverdance and Westlife in China, but Ireland's broader cultural footprint is increasing all the time. This year's Bloomsday celebrations in Shanghai were viewed online by many thousands of Chinese Joyce enthusiasts. Two of China's most prominent Irish studies experts, Professor Wang Zhangpeng and Professor Chen Li, were awarded Presidential Distinguished Service Awards in 2022 in recognition of their fine efforts to promote our language, our literature and our culture. Ireland's history, culture and values have always been key parts of what attracts students and other visitors to our shores, and our values are at the heart of our engagement in the European Union and indeed a wider multilateral rules-based order. Ireland believes that China, as a global power and as a permanent member of the Security Council, has a critical role to play in protecting the rules-based multilateral order. It is in this context that we will continue to ask China to use its influence to end Russia's war in Ukraine, and that we will be consistent in our messages on human rights concerns and China's obligations under international law and international frameworks. China's role in the world is very important, and together with our European Union partners, Ireland remains committed to working with China to find common ground in addressing the shared global challenges that we face, not least in the area of climate change, where China is such an important partner and is doing so much positive work in that regard, and as a critical hub for innovation in clean technologies. And it's important we recognise the huge strides that are being made by China. China also has an important role to play in addressing global health challenges and in the renewing of our collective commitment to deliver on the Sustainable Development Goals that Professor Cusack has referred to. Ladies and gentlemen, as we celebrate 45 years of diplomatic ties, it is clear that our shared agenda with China is growing, and that the increased political engagement of the last 12 months has strengthened our understanding of one another. We have so much to discuss, and there is much potential yet to be achieved in this relationship. And I look forward to the next 45 years and a further deepening of our relationship across the political, the personal, the cultural, and the economic spheres. And I hope you all enjoy the remainder of this event. And thank you, Martin, for giving me the opportunity just to set out that broad context of the very important relationship between Ireland and China, which we will continue to nurture and continue to invest in over the period ahead. Thank you.